Shalom Uvracha from Yerushalayim, Ir HaKodesh. This evening, we studied together the special Haftarah of Parashat Shekalim. This Shabbat, we have a special reading in the Torah, the reading of Shekalim, one of the 4 special readings in preparation for the great holidays, which are approaching, Purim and Pesach. And the Haftarah that we study this evening is the Haftarah, the prophetic reading of Parashat Shekalim, taken from the 12th chapter of the book of Kings 2, Melachim Bet. We read therein, in chapter 12 of Melachim Bet, we read of a seemingly pious king called Jehoash, who the prophet describes as following that which is righteous and upright in the eyes of God. However, a careful reading of chapter 12, verse 3, may lead us to a rather different conclusion. Vayas Yehoash hayashar be'inei Adonai kol yamav asher horahu Yehoyada HaKohen. Yehoash did that which is proper in the eyes of Hashem all his days that Yehoyada HaKohen taught him. Now that's a puzzling phrase. What does it mean? Kol yamav asher horahu Yehoyada HaKohen. Does it mean, indeed, that Yehoash followed the ways of God all of his days? But if it means all of his days, why does it say that the days that he was listening or that he was being under the tutelage or the teachings of Yehoyada HaKohen? Or does it mean that he was righteous for as long as Yehoyada HaKohen was there to teach him? I do think that there's 2 different ways of reading the sentence, and perhaps both can be defended. In rabbinic literature, they tend to speak more about the fact that Yehoash was righteous, was very righteous, but Asher Horahu Yehoyada HaKohen, for as long as Yehoyada was there to guide him. For instance, if you look in the book of Chronicles 2, that's the last book of the Bible, the way most standard Tanakhs are printed. Divrei Hayamim Bet, Chronicles 2, the very end of Tanakh. Chronicles 2, chapter 24. And there we read that Yoash did indeed walk righteously in the eyes of God, but there the sentence is slightly different. And I quote, chapter 24 of Chronicles 2. Vayas Yoash hayashar beinei Hashem kol yemei Yehoyada HaKohen. Slightly different, right? Very, very often when you study the book of Kings, it's very important to study it together with the book of Chronicles. Yoash did that which is right, which was straightforward in the eyes of God. Kol yemei Yehoyada HaKohen, for all of the days of Yehoyada HaKohen. That seemingly is a clearer indication that, well, what happened after the days of Yehoyada HaKohen? And indeed, in verses 17 and 18, those people following, you could look in the text, that's Perek Kaf Daled, Pesukim Yud Zayin and Yud Het of Divrei Hayamim Bet, chapter 24, verses 17 and 18, of that very chapter, we read of that which took place when Yehoyada was no longer alive. Quote, V'acharei mot Yehoyada, and after the death, after the demise of Yehoyada, Ba'u Sarei Yehuda, the leaders, the officers of Judah came, Vayishtachavu lamelech, and they bowed down to the king. Az Shama HaMelech Alehem, and then the king started listening to them. The next words are painful, but I'll read it anyway. And they forsook the house of God. Vayazvu et Beit Hashem Elokei Avotehem, Vayavdu et ha'asherim ve'et ha'atzabim, Vayiketzev al Yehuda v'Yerushalayim b'ashmatam zot. They are accused, Yoash, listening to the officers. They follow the ways of foreign gods. They worship Asherah trees. They worship idols. And there was a divine fury against them. Seemingly, Kol Yamav, Asher Horahu Yehoyada Kohen. Yehoash indeed was righteous. He truly followed in the upright pathways of righteousness, but only for as long as Yehoyada was alive. And I believe that the message of the life of Yehoash, perhaps Yehoash's life, teaches us that many of us often need some spiritual mentor to keep us in line. Although we should be doing that which is right, that which is proper, that which is just, we should be pursuing that which is correct for its own sake. The added guidance of a living mentor is often ever so necessary. A further example, perhaps, of this in biblical literature can be found in the first book of Kings, Kings 1. Vayitchaten Shlomo et Paro melech Mitzrayim vayikach et bat Paro. The very beginning of the third chapter of Kings 1, we read about how King Solomon married the daughter of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt. However, it is important to note that immediately prior to that description, right at the end of chapter 2, we read a report of how Shimei ben Gerah was no longer alive. Shimei ben Gerah, according to our tradition, had been the mentor of King Solomon. He was his teacher. Our rabbis teach in Tractate Berachot, page 8a, Amar Ula, La'olam yadur Adam bimkom Rabbo. Shekol zman sheshim'i ben Gerah kayam, Lo nasa Shlomo et bat Paro. Roughly translated, a person should always try to live in close proximity to his or her rabbi. For as long as Shimei ben Gerah, the teacher, the mentor, the Rebbe of King Solomon, the teacher of Shlomo, for as long as Shimei was alive, Shlomo did not marry into the family of the Egyptian pharaoh. He did not marry the Egyptian princess. After Shimei's death, Shlomo's mode of behavior changed. He acted boldly and perhaps even improperly only after the demise of his teacher. A person has a certain level of awe, a certain level of respect, a certain level of derech eretz in front of his or her spiritual teacher, and many forms of spiritual misconduct can be avoided by a close relationship with a living rabbi, with a living mashpia, with a living mashpi'ah, with a living rebbitzin, with a living rav, with a living mechanech, with a living mechanechet. The biblical prohibition of marrying an Egyptian, even an Egyptian convert of that period, was carefully observed by King Solomon for as long as his Torah master was alive. La'olam yadur Adam bimkom Rabbo. How advantageous indeed to be close to one's spiritual leader. According to this particular school of thought, the greatest of rabbis, the greatest of rebbitzins, the greatest rabbi also needs a rabbi. The greatest rebbitzin also needs a rebbitzin. There has to be someone to whom one can turn for spiritual guidance and direction. Someone that can help them. Someone that can help each of us walk properly in the eyes of God. Yehoash of our Haftarah needed seemingly the overseeing eye of Yehoyada. And without it, he veered. He turned away from the proper path. Each of the great Talmudic rabbis speaks on different occasions. They held someone in special esteem. They found someone who was greater than them. They found someone that they deeply respected. And these leaders and teachers helped them avoid spiritual pitfalls. There's a discussion in the Talmud in Moed Katan, Kav Daled Amud Aleph, page 24a of Tractate Moed Katan, when they reported to the great Amorah, to the great teacher, one of the most famous teachers in Talmudic literature, his name is Shmuel, when they reported to Shmuel that Rav had passed away. Amru lei l'Shmuel, nach nafshei de Rav. Rav is no longer alive. So he rips his garments. And he rips 12 different garments. It means every time he put on a new garment, he felt such pain. The way one of the formal expressions of mourning is to rip a garment. 12 garments. And he expressed, gone is the person. No longer is alive the person that I was so afraid of, the person that I was in awe of. There was one person, Rav. When Rav was around, I was in awe. There was a certain level, Nach Azal Gavra Dahava Mistapina Amine. I was afraid of him. Not afraid in the sense of, he was scary. He was a scary person. I mean, I had to act properly because I knew that there was Rav around. No longer is Rav there. Amru Leila Rabbi Yochanan, one of the greatest teachers here in Eretz Yisrael, Rabbi Yochanan, maybe second generation of the period of the Amoraim. When they told Rabbi Yochanan that Rabbi Chanina had passed away, Nach Nafshei, the Rabbi Chanina, Kara Alei Tzleisar, it's Talei Melta. He took 13 different garments of the most expensive wool, and he was expressing his pain. Oh, Rabbi Chanina, no, it's no longer. Amar, the same expression. Azal Gavra, Dahava Mistapina Mine. Gone is the person. This great person that I was in such awe of. This great person that in a certain sense I was afraid of. This great person who was really there to be above me. Yes, Shmuel was indeed very great. Who was even greater while Rav was there to supervise. Yes, Rabbi Yochanan was very great, but was even greater for as long as Rabbi Chanina was alive. May we all merit to properly learn the message of Yehoash from our Haftarah, and may we properly serve God, regardless of whether there is a great sage alive whose approval we need and we seek. May we all find the proper levels of the true service of Hashem. Amen. Thank you so much for listening.